NFL royally screws Raiders by handing Cowboys an unfair advantage. It is hard to complain too much about the Las Vegas Raiders' schedule now that it has been officially revealed. Unlike in years past, the Raiders not only play a relatively easy slate of opponents on paper, but the structure of their schedule is actually favorable. In years past, the team endured long stretches away from home, international games, or dramatic rest disadvantages. But the NFL must have realized that they were being too obvious in their negligence of the silver and black. However, the league still threw in a major snag for the Raiders ahead of their Week 11 matchup against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Las Vegas plays on Thursday night against the Broncos in Week 10, which means that the team was set to have a small bye and major rest advantage over the Cowboys. However, the league refused to let this fly and gave Dallas a bye week before their primetime matchup in Las Vegas. This means that Las Vegas has only 11 days of rest compared to the Cowboys' 14. While this may not be a dramatic advantage for Dallas, more to the point is that it takes away a potential advantage for the Raiders. Not only will they have to play a game the week prior to this matchup, but they will have a quicker turnaround than their opponent. The Cowboys are America's team after all, and the darlings of the NFL, so this news comes as no surprise to Raider Nation. The Raiders also take on the Jaguars in Week 9 after their bye, which should be a major advantage for Las Vegas. However, Jacksonville also has a Week 8 bye, which means that the Silver and Black get no extra edge in terms of rest. While this may seem like a minor complaint compared to the broad scope of a great schedule, it is frustrating to get the short end of the stick when other NFL teams rarely do. Fortunately, the Raiders have a mature coaching staff that has built this team to overcome obstacles, and that is what they'll have to do several times this season. 2025 NFC East Offseason Report Card. Late splash trade elevates Cowboys. It wouldn't be a surprise if two NFC East teams meet again in the conference title game after an eventful offseason for the four teams. The Washington Commanders were blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Still, they might have closed the gap after blockbuster trades for Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil. The Eagles lost plenty of veteran talent from their Super Bowl squad, but they're well-equipped to contend for another Lombardi Trophy thanks to another impressive draft class. After months of sleepy transactions, the Dallas Cowboys made a splash trade for star wide receiver George Pickens last week, a move that could help them compete in the loaded NFC East after missing the playoffs in 2024. The New York Giants still need to find a franchise quarterback, but Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, or Jackson Dart could help this team shake off back-to-back losing seasons. Here are our off-season report cards for the teams in the NFC East. Key additions: RB Jaden Blue, G. Tyler Booker, Edge Donovan Ezerwaku, Edge Dante Fowler Jr., QB Joe Milton III, LB Kenneth Murray Jr., WR George Pickens, CB Siobhan Revel Jr., RB Miles Sanders, DT Solomon Thomas, RB Javonte Williams. Key subtractions: WR Brandon Cooks, RB Rico Dowdle, DL Chauncey Galston, LB Eric Kendricks, QB Trey Lance, CB Jordan Lewis, DL DeMarcus Lawrence, QB Cooper Rush. The Cowboys' late offseason splash trade for Pickens was exactly what this team needed to contend in the loaded NFC East. Dallas's patient approach paid off, prioritizing the trenches in the draft while resisting the urge to overpay for skill players in free agency. Eventually, the Cowboys will need to decide whether Pickens is worth a lucrative contract extension, but if he is, then this risky trade was worth the dice roll. With Booker's first-round selection, Dak Prescott could have plenty of time to throw downfield to CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. The Cowboys are missing a bell cow back, but they gained a quality committee with the signing of Williams and the fifth-round selection of Blue. On the defensive side, the team might have acquired two first-round talents during day 2 of the draft, selecting Ezerwaku and Revel. Suddenly, there's plenty to like about this Cowboys team heading into year 1 with coach Brian Schottenheimer. The idea of the Dallas Cowboys trading Dak Prescott sounds like a blockbuster move, the kind that would dominate sports media for weeks. But when looked beyond the headlines and social media speculation of much more complex picture emerges, one where emotion, business, and strategy collide. Dak Prescott, since taking over as the Cowboys' starting quarterback in 2016, has been more than just a stat machine. He's become the face of the franchise, a locker room leader, and a symbol of stability. For a team with Super Bowl aspirations year after year, that kind of presence is not easily replaced, especially not in a league where quarterback turnover can sink a team for years. Still, fans are growing restless. After another early playoff exit, many are pointing fingers. Fair or not, the quarterback always gets the most heat, and Prescott's hefty contract only magnifies the pressure. On a recent episode of the Athletic Football Show, NFL analyst Robert Mays said, "If you called the Cowboys right now and said, 'We'll give you 3 first-round picks for Dak,' I think they would do it." Mays stated, sparking renewed debate over the team's long-term commitment to their franchise quarterback. Prescott, 30, remains one of the league's top statistical performers. However, repeated playoff shortcomings and a looming financial burden, including a projected $59.4 million cap hit in 2025, have raised questions about his future in Dallas. Trading Prescott, who has a no-trade clause in his current deal, would represent a seismic shift for the franchise. Yet, May's comment reflects a sentiment that's gaining traction among NFL insiders. The Cowboys could be tempted to reset their roster if presented with the right offer. 3 first-round picks would give Dallas unprecedented flexibility to draft a younger quarterback, address roster needs, and create long-term financial breathing room. Though risky, the move could align with a growing trend among NFL teams, leveraging aggressive trades to accelerate contention, as seen with the Rams' acquisition of Matthew Stafford and the 49ers' recent roster maneuvers. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has publicly supported Prescott and has not indicated any plans to move on from the veteran quarterback. However, the pressure to deliver postseason results continues to mount, with head coach Mike McCarthy also facing scrutiny. Any major roster decision could signal a broader organizational shift. For now, the trade scenario remains hypothetical, but as off-season speculation heats up, the possibility of a blockbuster deal involving Prescott, once unthinkable, no longer feels entirely off the table.